Hi, thank you for joining us for training today. We appreciate your time. We know that you have so many things on your plate, and so we appreciate the time that you are devoting to learning more about your school health and related services, or SHARS program. Today, we're going to talk to you about various components. Please know that as you're going through this training virtually, we would love to be in a room with you where we could talk with you as a group or individually. At any point, if you're not sure about something we're covering or how to use our system, feel free to reach out. Our contact information will be at the end of the training, and we're happy to schedule one-on-one webinars virtually with you to walk through anything. If you take this training today and in a week or a month, you sit down in order to begin your documentation and you're not sure, reach out. You have district staff as well as those of us here at CASB, and we consider you family. I hope you enjoy the rest of the training.
Hello, I'm Dr. Erica Hodge. I'm a member of the TASB Special Education Solutions team. We are here today to give you a training for the School Health and Related Services program. We hope you enjoy the slides as you'll learn for information regarding each provider type. We'll begin with an introduction to SHARS, followed by a presentation for your provider type. Please enjoy. Let's begin with a review of the SHARS program. As you see here on this slide, this is the hierarchy of the SHARS program. It is governed by the federal side with the Health and Human Services Division, also the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, or CMS. As you see underneath those two slides, there are 4 different entities in our state of Texas: the Health and Human Services Commission, TEA, the Office of Inspector General, and the Office of Attorney General. You'll also notice that TASB is one of several third-party vendors in the state that support districts obtaining Medicaid reimbursements. TMHP is an entity that provides the reimbursements for your district, and then Fairbanks LLC is a contact entity that you'll see for your random moment time study information. Here you'll notice that the SHARS information is on the cost categories from 2017 shows that in blue, the personal care services area provides many dollars back to districts and reimbursements. In addition to personal care services, SHARS reimbursements can be obtained from audiology, nursing, occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling, psych services, speech therapy, physician services, and specialized transportation. What is SHARS? SHARS stands for the School Health and Related Services. It's a Medicaid reimbursement program at the federal level where you can get reimbursement for direct medical services you provide to students who are eligible. The billing criteria means you need to have a child in your school who is enrolled in a special education program. They must be 20 years of age or younger, have an ARD or an IEP documenting the medical necessity for services, and have a disability or chronic medical condition. Finally, the student must be Medicaid eligible. Our SHARS software determines Medicaid eligibility and is reported weekly to your district administration staff. So we encourage you to enter all your sessions on your caseload, regardless of whether or not you know the child is eligible for Medicaid or not. One of the important things to know about this program is that you must obtain parental consent to release Medicaid information. Each district is required to obtain a signed parental consent one time in order to release information to Medicaid. Some districts have different policies where they may ask you to do this annually. However, it is required specifically for your district to do it one time. Also remember that if a student transfers into your district and they had previous parental consent in a previous district, you still must obtain your own district's parental consent. Finally, don't forget, after you've obtained consent, each year annually you must notify the parents that you're going to release Medicaid information on an annual basis. Did you know that there's no lifetime benefit cap for SHARS Medicaid as long as the services are medically necessary? It's very important. Many parents are concerned that once they release their Medicaid number to you, that now their benefits are going to decrease for their child. Please encourage them this is not the case. Help them understand that these services you're providing to the students are in school and they do not infect the kiddos who are getting services outside of school. There are many billable areas for SHARS. They include occupational therapy, counseling, personal care services, nursing, physician services, assessments, speech, and audiology. Also, you'll see over here specialized transportation. That's a billable service if you have one of the other services included.
Hi, my name is Lori Waddell, and I'm an account executive here with the Texas Association of School Boards. Today I'm going to discuss with you related services documentation for SHARS. Eligible providers, there's a wide range of providers that are considered related services for SHARS purposes. We're going to start off with speech. ASHA certified speech language pathologists are an equivalent SLP with a Texas licensure. Those that can bill with supervision are grandfathered SLPs, an SLP assistant, a speech and language intern, or a TEA certified SLP. We also have licensed occupational therapists by the Texas Board of Occupational Therapy Examiners. Certified occupational therapy assistants can bill, but they have to be supervised. We have licensed physical therapists by the Texas Board of Physical Therapy Examiners and also physical therapy assistants, but again, they have to be supervised in order to do billing. Licensed professional counselors, clinical social workers, marriage and family therapists can all provide counseling services under the SHARS program. TEA or SBEC certified counselors are not eligible to bill via SHARS. Neither are licensed professional counseling interns. Lastly, we have licensed audiologists that are licensed by the Texas State Department of Licensing and Regulation. Let's talk about billable versus non-billable services. In order to bill for services for SHARS, it has to be direct therapy. You can bill for those evaluations, which is testing time. You can bill for audiological management, which is checking, repairing or adjusting hearing aids, setting up FM systems. You can also bill for makeup sessions. Any sessions that were missed during a semester or during the year and you want to make those up, you can definitely bill SHARS for those. Now, non-billable services. These are any consult or indirect therapy times. If the therapist consults with a teacher or a staff member, that time is not billable. When you're doing evaluations, the data interpretation or report writing, those are not billable for these services. So we're going to talk about our documentation and what's needed for documenting SHARS services, these related services. Like we've said before, special education and SHARS, there's an alignment between the two. For special education, you've got eligibility. For SHARS, you've got prescriptions, eligibility, or referrals. For the special ed side, you've got the ARD, or the IEP. In that ARD, for SHARS purposes, you need to document the medical necessity and specificity of services. Make sure for documentation services, we've got the direct services documentation, not only for SPED, but also for SHARS. And then, of course, review and audit is going to take place in both. We like to say that good special education means good SHARS. If you've got the documentation for the services in the ARD, then you should be good to bill for the SHARS part. The required components to support your SHARS billing for these related services, we like to talk about the 5 W's and the how. How are these answered in the ARD to address all required components? The who and the how, who is being served and how will these services be provided? The what, the specificity of activities or services needed. The when and where, this is the frequency or the duration and location of services. And the why, you need to make sure that you explain the medical necessity for the activities or the services needed. Here's a sample document. Victor will be served in a group setting to meet his speech and physical therapy needs. He will be provided with 2 20-minute sessions weekly in the therapy room for both therapies. Victor has 30% speech intelligibility and limited mobility in right lower extremities. Without the therapy, he becomes frustrated. So what is the who? The who is Victor. The how is in a group setting. The what is speech or physical therapy needs. The when is 2 20-minute sessions weekly. The where is in a therapy room. And the why is because Victor has a speech impairment and he has limited mobility. Again, if there's any changes in the service, please make sure when you're documenting these changes, be sure to include the date of the discussion, name the parent or the guardian, the name of the district staff member, and then discussion notes. Make sure you're describing the service modality, the frequency, duration of the service, and any other topics, whether or not the parent agrees. And remember, consent can be verbal or written.
Today, we'll be demonstrating how to enter services into TASB's Smart Solution. After logging in, you will be brought to the home page. Your navigation bar appears across the top. You will need to start by identifying students for your caseload. Click Manage Caseload in the navigation bar. You will now see a list of 10 students in alphabetical order. You can expand the list by selecting a larger number from the Results per Page dropdown. You can review this list as it appears, or you may refine what you're looking for by using the search fields across the top. Once you have spotted the student that you are interested in, click the Add button to the left of the student. That will change to Remove. This has placed the student on your caseload in the application. If you use the search fields, entering a portion of a student's last name and clicking Enter will bring up all students with that in their name. Review that list and spot your student. Click Add to place the student on your caseload. Again, that will change to Remove, and the student is on your caseload. Repeat this process as necessary to build your caseload. Click the Home icon to return to the home page. Notice that your caseload now appears on the home page. There is some information behind these student names. If you click on a student name, you will be brought to the logs that you have currently entered. You can also see shared logs of coworkers, of other related service providers that have been delivering services to the same student. Click the home icon again. We will now start the process of entering a service into the system. Click Wizards. Click Service Log by Student Wizard. Your caseload will appear here. Select your student by placing a check mark in the box to the left of the student's name. When you've chosen your student, click Next. You're now brought to the current calendar. If you need to enter a date on a previous month, use the dropdown that appears above Saturday to find the month in question. You can also use the arrows to help toggle your way through. On the calendar, identify the day that you wish to place a service by putting a check mark in the box of the day. Click Next above or below the calendar. You're now on the service log page. Start by confirming that this is the student you wish to enter a service on. Confirm the date that you have chosen. If this is not the correct date and you wish to choose a different date, pop this open and choose the correct day. Move to the right and service type. Pop the service type dropdown and select from your list what service or note you would like to indicate on the student. Once you have selected a service, the page will change. Complete the page as required. Enter a start and end time. Enter an activity for that day. Goals and objectives. You have an open text field that you can type into, or if your district has been uploading goals and objectives, click the button and choose from the list of goals. To the left of each goal is a caret. Clicking on that caret will reveal the objectives specific to that goal. Use a check mark to indicate those that you would like to place in the record. When complete, X out of the window. Enter an observation specific to this day. The notes field is open and optional for your use if you'd like to include anything extra in the record. Below that, put a check mark in the service that you delivered to the student. Once your page is complete, click Save as Complete. You will be returned to the calendar. If you would like to enter services on more than one day, you may indicate that on the calendar. Simply choose multiple days by placing check marks in the days you wish to log a service. Click Next. You will now see at the bottom of the page an indicator of where you are in your progress through the days that you have indicated. We chose 2 days, so I can see that I'm on record 1 of 2. To assist you with your logging, there is a pre-fill button from the last service log. You can use this to populate the page. When I click it, it pulls information from the most recent record forward. It tells me speech individual, the time, the activity, the goals and objectives, and leaves the observation open for me to write a specific observation for that day. You may edit or change anything on this page. When you have gotten the page to what you would like, simply click Save as Complete. When I save as complete, I will move on to the second record, the second date that I indicated. Again, things are filled in for you. The service, the time, the activity, the goal. The observation is open. Edit anything on the page as necessary. Once you've completed it, click Save as Complete. Before I do that, notice that your logs appear at the bottom of the page, and you can review those logs simply by rolling over the fields, and they will expand. If you see a log that you have entered in error and you wish to delete it, notice the trash can to the left-hand side. By clicking on the trash can, the system will ask you, are you sure you want to remove this log? Click OK or Cancel to move forward. I'm going to complete this process for this log by clicking Save as Complete. Notice my services appear in my calendar. If I've entered something and I wish to amend it, I may do so as long as it has not been moved on to TMHP for reimbursement. To edit a log, click Wizards. Click Edit Student Service Log. If your logs don't appear here, use the refining information to start the process. Enter some start and end dates to help you find your log. Click Search. You have 2 options. You may edit or delete the record. Again, if it does not appear here, it has moved on to TMHP for reimbursement and you may not alter it at this time. Clicking Edit opens the record and allows you to make changes as needed. Always save as complete. Click the home icon to return to the home page. Notice in the top right-hand corner the notification bell. This bell indicates that there is something to do. This bell may indicate that you have supervision if you are a supervisor, or service logs returned by your SHARS administrator that need correction. Let's start with supervision. Click on Go to Supervision Wizard. You will see a list of providers and students with services for your review. Find one and click on Enter Supervision Log. You will now see the list of services that the provider has delivered and their notes. Review those logs. You have options. If the log meets the standard, place a check mark in the box to the left, write a comment that you have reviewed the log, and click Save and Return to List, or Save and Go on to Next Student, or Save and Continue if there's multiple pages for the student. If the record does not meet your standard, you may return it to the provider that created it. Enter a comment of what needs to change and click Corrections Required. Return to the home page and click on the notification bell again. Service logs for correction. Again, these are logs that your district SHARS administrator has returned to you. You will see the student, the date, and the service you delivered, and a note from the administrator telling you what needs to change. Click Edit to open the record. Again, the note appears at the top, and make adjustments as required. When complete, click Save as Complete.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Hodge, and I'm with the TASB Special Education Solutions team. Today's topic will be the Random Moment Time Study. As a reminder, the state has a goal for everyone to participate in the study as a rate of about 85%. However, in your district, you probably want to get a 100% participation rate. In this slide, you'll see an overview of the Random Moment Time Study process. Step number 1, the RMTS contact will go ahead and select a pool of participants for the Random Moment Time Study. This includes anyone who's providing SHARS services directly or indirectly. Step 2, the contractor for HHSE will now begin to look at that pool of people and begin matching time studies with participants. Step 3, your cutoff will randomly select you. It could be one time, it could be multiple times during the quarter to actually answer a moment question. Step number 4, the RMTS contact will ensure that all the selected participants have been trained, such as watching the video like this one. In step 5, the participants will go ahead and answer the questions. And then step 6 is very key. We have an HHSC contractor who will go and code your responses. Please be reminded that the person who's coding your responses is not an educator, so don't use acronyms. Make sure you're very explicit in your responses and provide a good, concise report. Educational or direct medical? Some still need some clarification on what's the difference between educational and direct medical services. Let's look at educational services. Those examples include a reading or language arts class, writing, mathematics, science, social studies, PE, electives, and pretty much activities that do not require human intervention to accomplish the task the student would normally accomplish for him or herself. Now, when we think about direct medical services, those include skills that are required by a licensed, skilled, and trained professional, such as your therapies for OT, PT, speech, as well as nursing, psychological services, counseling, and evaluations. This also includes personal care services, which are activities that do require human intervention to accomplish a task a student would normally do for him or herself, such as cueing, redirection, activities of daily living, and hands-on assistance. Now you may be wondering, what is a moment? In general, it's just 60 seconds. You will receive an email from Fairbanks, and it will tell you the time and date of your moment. In those 60 seconds, you will describe what happened. Please do not elaborate and go into what happened your entire day. If your time selected was 9:42, you have those 60 seconds between 9:42 and 9:43. If you did multiple activities during that time frame, only select the ones you did the most of. Once again, it's only 60 seconds. The next slide you are looking at shows us an example of the Random Moment Time Study notification. This is an email from Fairbanks, and as you will see, it has your name, has your district, it has your area of service, and it also has your date and time of your Random Moment Time Study. Please also look below because you'll see your username and your password in order to log into Fairbanks to access the system. In your login screen, go ahead and cut and paste your login ID and your password to access Fairbanks. Then you will have 3 questions to answer. Number 1, who was with you? Number 2, what were you doing? And number 3, why are you performing this activity? Now you will see that Fairbanks has updated their screens, made it a lot easier for each person to go ahead and answer their questions. As you see now in the first question, Who is with you? You have a pull-down screen. Go ahead and look at the examples you see on your screen now. Question 2. The question 2 is what you were doing. In this question, you have a text box which will include 2 to 4 sentences. In this section, make sure you only write down what was happening during your moment of time for 60 seconds. If you're performing multiple activities, go ahead and put just the one you did the most of. Also as a reminder, don't use student names. Also don't use acronyms. The person coding your response is not an educator. They're professionals and they may not understand if you use acronyms. If for any reason your coder does not understand your response, they will contact you via email to go ahead and rewrite your response. Your third question, your final question, is going to be, why are you performing this activity? Once again, they've given you a very handy and helpful pull-down menu there with over 20 different responses you can provide there. Go ahead and review the entire list and then select the most appropriate response. Once you've completed that activity, you should get an email that confirms your responses that you provided to the company. Now, let's do an example together. Question number 1. Who was with you? Your response could be a student with a learning difficulty in reading. Question number 2, what were you doing? Your response could be your 2 to 4 sentences. I was working with a special education student. Her disability is in reading and other health impairment. I was providing medication in alignment with the IEP. Question number 3, why are you performing this activity? Another possible response on your menu, to provide doctor-prescribed medication or medical care.
Hi, I'm Denise Carter, Education Support Senior Account Executive for TASB Student Solutions. I'm sure you enjoyed the training session that you have just completed with my very knowledgeable colleagues. However, if you do still have questions or thought of questions based on the information that you heard, here are some ways that you can get those questions answered. First, you can contact your district SHARS administrator. If the question you have is not able to be answered by them, you are certainly welcome to contact the team for Special Education Solutions by calling 888-630-6606 or emailing shars@tasb.org. We will get back with you quickly to get your questions answered. We would greatly appreciate if you would take just a minute or less to answer the survey to let us know how we did on this training. We really do take the time to look at the results and we use that information. We always like to hear what we're doing well, everybody does, but we also really want to know if there was any area that you feel we could do better or any suggestions that you have that we might be able to use. We would really appreciate that feedback. Because you have participated in this training session, I know that you are already aware of the amazing work that the team at TASB Special Education Solutions does in the area of SHARS Medicaid. We'd like to share with you today information about our newest area, TASB Student Solutions. Our team at TASB Student Solutions is here to support your special populations programs. We do support special education, but that's not all we do. Additionally, we can provide supports for you in the areas of Section 504, English learners, and gifted and talented. Many of the services that we provide can be done remotely, so please know that even during this time of social distancing, school closures, some face-to-face, some not, there are still ways that we can support you. The services that we provide include special education, workload, staffing analysis, program reviews in any of the areas that we support, executive coaching, and professional development. Please reach out and let us know if there's some way that we can support you in any of those areas. Thank you so much for your participation in this training session today. We all look forward to working with you to support you in whatever way you need.